everybody, Kittie Kitsuneko here, and we are going to do a little bit of a review here of Karin. A lot of you have been asking me to continue with doing the Volks and doll reviews and that, so that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to do doll reviews for a bit on the channel. I don't know how often I'll be able to do them, but we're going to do some doll reviews. So today I have Karin here with me. She's a Volks, a Dolphy Dream's sister, and you can buy her on Volks USA. You can buy her internationally as well, and you can find her secondhand. Now, the cost of her is going to be about the same. She is a default doll, and as long as the default is available, you're going to find her for about the same price anywhere you go. So if you're paying more, if you see somebody selling her for more than what she's worth, be aware of some things, and we'll get into that in a second. But typically you're not going to pay an arm and a leg for her as far as dolls is concerned. And keep in mind, $500 for a doll is not, an easy, drop in the bucket for a lot of people. So I mean, we'll get into more about that in a minute, about the cost and is she worth it, and so on and so forth. So bear with me on this. I don't really have a script to go on. I'm just kind of winging it as we go because I want to give an honest review from somebody who purchases these dolls, and we're not going to sugarcoat anything. We're going to be brutally honest on this, and whether it's good or bad, that's your call. But ultimately, we're just gonna speak our mind. All right. So Karin here again. She is a default doll, which means when you get her, she will come with a nice slip. She will come with her undergarments. She will also come with this default wig and a random set of eyes, as well as a face up. Now the face up you're going to get is exactly the same as you see here. They are all exactly the same. The eyes are going to be random colored, but the wig will always be the same as well. She will come with hands that you see on the page, unless somebody has decided to give her different hands or add hands. And we'll get into that in a minute as well, because you can customize her that way. If you don't like her face up, that's okay too. You can change her. Again, we'll get into customizing in a minute. So if the face up is a deal breaker for you, please be patient. We're going to get into that, I promise. What else does she come with? Well, that's really it. You get a nice box. The box is actually quite flimsy now. Volks used to do some really nice boxes for a lot of their dolls. More importantly, their resin dolls come with a very nice box. The boxes that they come with are real cheap. Unless you are keeping them for a potential resale or, gifting it to somebody later on, I don't see any reason to keep the box. They're extremely flimsy. They basically come on a cardboard back, which they're kind of put on via ribbon. So I personally think keeping the boxes is kind of a moot point, unless, again, it's a special doll or anything like that. But these are just, they're not really anything to save the box for. Again, you probably could find some nice boxes on eBay, I'm sure, which she would fit into without any issues. If you're looking for a box for her that's a more permanent solution, you might want to look at SD. That's S as in Sam, D as in Delta, size boxes from Volks. They usually come with pillows and some nice things. Otherwise, they have some nice carriers that you can buy on the Volks website as well. And you don't have to stick with Volks. There are plenty of other services around there that you can find. I'm sure you can even probably find something that is customizable on Amazon that would work just fine as well. Just be aware of her measurements and what you would need realistically. If you made yourself some pillows, got yourself some ribbon, and a nice bag that was about her size, it would work just fine. All right, as far as anything else she comes with, that's it. So if you're looking for clothing, you will have to buy that separately. Now, what does she wear? She wears a lot of the clothes that you're going to find on Volks' website. Again, you can buy clothes elsewhere, but since she is wearing a Volks outfit, this outfit is intended for a Dolphy Dream. She's a Dolphy Dream sister, which means she's a little bit smaller than a Dolphy Dream. It does fit her quite nicely. I'll try and lift her up so you can kind of see her whole outfit, and of course she does have shoes on, and she's quite a lovely doll. She is vinyl, so that means that she's not resin. Resin is a lot more fragile than the vinyl. So if you're debating on resin versus vinyl, there are a lot of differences, and eventually we will get into that because I do have resin dolls that we can look at and talk about, and talk about the difference between these. Resin dolls do require a lot more maintenance than a vinyl doll, but don't be fooled, vinyl dolls do require some kind of maintenance as well. So keep that in mind. I do have a stand for her. You can buy them on Volks. I personally just went to Amazon, bought doll stands. This is a saddle stand, so it doesn't have the thing around her waist. She just kind of rests on it. And they're super cheap. You don't really need a real expensive one. That's really all you need. So she does have a nice stand for her. I highly recommend getting a stand. Unless you are someone who actively, takes the dolls out repeatedly or doesn't have the room for it, highly recommend some kind of cabinet or something to put them in to kind of keep them away from elements and other things. Sunlight does damage them, that kind of thing. But again, we'll get into maintenance in a little bit. She is very articulated. So if you are familiar with dolls and stuff like that, action figures, she's very articulated. She can move. We're going to go from head to toe. She can move her head. She can move her shoulders. She can move her elbows here. She can move at the wrist. She can move at the waist here, kind of under the bust, at the waist. She can also move. She can move at the hip, at the knee, and then at the ankle. So you can position her in many different ways. And vinyl dolls are great when it comes to holding a pose, because you don't have to worry about the tautness of that elastic to keep them in place. As far as clothing, is clothing expensive? Yes. I mean, depending on where you go, it can be very expensive. This is a Volks outfit that she is wearing. She's also wearing the shoes. So yes, they can get expensive. I highly recommend going to places like Etsy. Volks.com has it. Other doll sites have it too. Just do a lot of digging, searching, eBay. They all have some great outfits to choose from. Doll Heart does as well. Beautiful outfits. Just do some digging around to find an outfit you like. And if your budget is sitting there and going, wow, $50 for a doll outfit is a little out of my range, there are patterns that you can get as well to make your own clothes. So do keep that in mind. You can always make your own. Fabric is a lot cheaper. But again, that's entirely your call, and it kind of fits in with your budget too. Have I made doll clothes? I have in the past. If I see an outfit I like, I generally just get the outfit because there's no way I have the time to do something like this, but I think she looks adorable in this outfit. So, are they removable? 100%. All of her, she can remove her arms, her elbows, her wrists. Hands are, removable. Head can be removed. Everything can be taken apart. The doll can be completely taken apart. She does have a plastic frame. And this is the F3 frame. So she's a little bit more posable than previous frame dolls, and a little bit more sturdy than those. As far as customizing goes, her hands, you can get many different kinds of hands from Volks. You can do that. Her face up, you can change if you are artistic enough to do that. You can change your face up. Again, Volks has some great stuff. Otherwise, some pastels, acrylics, acrylic paint, also colored pencils, those kinds of things work well. Highly recommend that you take a piece of paper, maybe work on, drawing the kind of face up that you want before you actually get to the doll. Mr. Super Clear, super important. And maybe in the future I'll do a video on doing a face up and that and how is it done and should you work in layers, etc. So maybe someday we'll get into that. Otherwise, there are plenty of YouTube videos out there that have some great tutorials on doing face-ups. Highly recommend that you check those out. So that being said, she's very customizable as far as hands and stuff goes, outfits, the face up. You will find, like, for instance, for me here, you will find I thought it would be really cute. I love foxes. I thought it would be adorable to put some little fox ears and stuff on her. And again, I just picked them up off of Etsy. You can do it yourself if you are, craft savvy. You can do that and kind of make her your own. Now, is she worth the price? That is a really difficult question. She is a very articulated, wonderful doll. If dolls are something that you enjoy and you've always stuck to like the Pure Nemo size dolls and you've always wanted a bigger one, I personally say yes. Now, again, it's one of those things where she is expensive. Are there cheaper versions? Yes, there are. There are other dolls out there that you will find that I'm sure are a lot cheaper. But Volks, I've always found, is a very good company that does offer good customer support for their dolls if something happens and it's not of your fault, meaning you're not like banging her on the floor or anything. Then yeah, Volks will kind of work with you to try and figure out what happened and what they can do to help fix the issue. The great thing about the Volks dolls is if any part of her breaks, you can buy the parts through Volks. They have, I do believe, everything you would need to fix one if you needed to fix a part of her. Leg breaks, great. They got leg parts. Arms, hands, everything. They got you covered. So, I mean, that's nice to know that there's a company that has pieces that you can fix. It's unlike a resin doll where, not a lot of companies have like extra arm, extra legs, stuff like that. So, staining. I will say staining, big issue. If you have dark clothes on them, too much sunlight on them, these kinds of things, they're gonna stain. Do keep that in mind. I highly recommend getting the bodysuits to cover, the doll. They are skin tone suits, so, you can put them on them so that they don't discolor or get stained as easily. Wig caps, super important, especially if you have a dark colored wig. Wig caps are important. Taking care of your doll, that's like most important, which brings me to maintenance. How should you store your doll? What is the best way? Doll stands are great because if you have them sitting on something too long, like dark wood or anything, they can't pick up that stain. That being said, doll stands, super cheap. Again, Amazon carries them. I do believe you can get a pack of like 8 for like $12. So highly recommend getting those. Cabinets are a great way to protect your dolls as well because you can keep the dust and stuff off of them so that they're not getting all dusty and stuff. But you are going to have to take care of them. Take them out, brush them off, make sure, because dust gets everywhere. Make sure that the clothes, change their clothes often, especially, like I said, with dark colors. Like, for example, In this instance, we have, that dark brown. You want to make sure that that dark brown is, not on her for long periods of time because that's going to stain the doll. Wigs. I can't even say how many wigs there are and eyes. They're all over the place. Make sure that you're looking at the size of the eyes and the size of the wig because that's really important. Because that's that's important because you don't want something too small or too big, I guess. I mean, you could. Just wouldn't be a great idea, would it? I kept mine in her default wig because I really enjoyed the color that she had, and I kept the default eyes. Now, keep in mind, it's random eyes when you get her. I kept the random default eyes that she came with because I really love the contrast of the green and this like orange or orangish red. I'm not quite sure what color you would call that, but I really love the contrast of it. And as soon as I saw the contrast that she had with that, immediately I was like, oh, I got to put fox ears on her because she just seems like, somebody who would wear fox ears and stuff. So I love it. Like I said, you can make her your own. Name her. I mean, she's anything you want to be, right? They're great. Is she worth the price? Yes, I think she is. It's an investment. So when I say it's an investment, I say that because right now, because she's a default doll, she's going to be around the same price or less anywhere you go. Unless somebody's done a custom face up, and custom face ups can range anywhere from, $20 to in the hundreds, depending on who you get it from. But being as expensive as she is, like I said, and being an investment, once she does go from the default, her price generally will start to slowly go up. And we see that more commonly with the character dolls that come out of Volks, the limited edition dolls that come out of these doll sites. And when you see those limited editions, you'll see them sell for like $700, and suddenly they're on eBay for $1,400. And that's because once they're gone, typically they are gone. Now, Volks does sometimes come back with these dolls and will resell them, as in version 2 or something. And we've seen this several times, more especially when they do their voting process of who should we bring back for a limited time. So there's that. There's also the pre-orders that they do now, which I believe is a wonderful way of doing the limited edition dolls, is doing the pre-orders because it enables more people to kind of get in on it. But the pre-order dolls are much better, and they don't go for as much, I think, as the limited lottery dolls. And that's just because there's a potential of there being more out there than there is of the set. Okay, we have 100 of these and that's it. The pre-order goes, okay, well, we have 1,000 people who ordered these dolls, so there's 1,000 of them. So hopefully that makes sense, but that's kind of the general consensus. Do your research. And I can't say this enough. Do your research. If you're looking for a doll, do your research. What is it sold for most recently? What is it sold for in the past? What is it selling for now? Stick to your guns on your price range. Don't sit and unless of course it is a Grail doll and you're like, look, I don't care if it's $900. I'm picking her up. The end. That's entire. I've done it. I think, we've all done it at some point for some item that we've wanted. But if you can wait, highly suggest that you keep digging, keep looking, because sometimes they do pop up. Every now and again, somebody's going to sell it for, something that will be around, closer to what your price range is. But you're going to have to, unless you have the money right away, you're going to have to save up. And I highly recommend that you save for a doll that you know is going to care about their customers and they're going to care about the quality of their items rather than buying something cheap off of like Amazon sells dolls like this now or something like that, because you get what you pay for. I mean, it's true with electronics, it's true with a lot of things, and that reigns true with the dolls as well. You get what you paid for. So keep that in mind. Yeah, I mean, to me, they're worth it, but there are other companies out there, and we're going to get into them. As you can see behind me, I do have Azone dolls as well. We're going to talk about, the differences between these dolls as we further on down the line. And we're going to talk about each of these individual dolls and how they came, what they came with, and everything else, and how they've held up over time, because some of these dolls have been in my collection since they came out. So, has there been staining? What's gone on with them? Did they hold up? Are they falling apart? These are things I'm going to tell you about these dolls, and I'm not going to hold back on them. So Karin is relatively new to me. She came to me in 2022. So far, of course, she's holding up quite well. But again, we're going to talk about some other dolls that have come out and see if they're holding up as well. So please stay tuned for more of that. But honestly, if you are looking into Karin, she's an amazing doll. She's beautiful. She's gorgeous. She's fun. She's customizable. Volks dolls are amazing. I highly recommend Volks dolls. I personally, they're one of my favorite companies out there. So this is not sponsored, obviously, but if you're thinking about her, yeah, pick her up. She's great. I'll leave some links down below where you can pick her up, as well as maybe some other links that might be a little bit more helpful if you're looking into getting a doll. If you have any questions, please post your comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn on that notification bell so that you know if this is a series that you like, that every time that I post one out there. I also do gaming videos. I do EM events from Great Lakes on Ultima Online every Tuesday and occasional Saturdays. So there's that. If there's anything else you would like to see, again, post your comments down below, because I would love to see what kind of videos you would like to see me do in the future. I hope this helped somebody decide if Karin is right or wrong for you. I know it's kind of a lengthy video, and I do apologize if I rambled a little bit. Again, it's kind of unscripted. It was just one of those things where so many people have been asking me to do it, so I decided I'm going to do it. All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this was informative. Hopefully you have a great day, night, whatever it is, wherever you are. Stay safe out there, and as always, be good to each other. I'll see you again real soon. Bye.